Hi, I'm Art McGee, and right now this is it, right here. Before we go into it, let's take a look at this opening here. The Light of Courage animation test. C/233/B, scene 14/3. That is how it's always opened. It didn't have a fancy opening until the second one. And this is when I was being fooled by SBK and Celius and his bunch. So let's take a look at the scene right here. You see, now take a look in the background here. This scene was completely accurate. There were volcanoes in the background because they had just finished up the third and final dungeon before going after Ganon, and they're confronted with a Stalfo that's being worn by Majora's Mask. Now as we continue into the scene, we hear this music that Celius had composed, and we hear me as the voice of Majora's Mask. Now the voice from Majora's Mask that I thought of was I wanted a really deep voice that sounded demonic, so that's what you ended up with. And it was also featured in Cracking Up Volume 1, as well as a radio disc jockey in The Unknown Creature, and a character in VoiceOver Insanity. Now, this is the way it happened. I was asked to send in a demo via email as Majora's Mask. No other character at all. And when I got this, I didn't know that they were going to be applied to animation. Now, let's continue right on. Now, take a look at this. Now, this looks like as they've had a sudden change of scenery. All of a sudden, we see volcanoes, and we go right to igloos and a snowman right in the background. I don't know what the snowman is about, and there are all these numbers here that reference. It says scene in progress. Reel, it says going 30 frames a second, and it's like all this detailed information about the video. So as we continue on, now I wrote that scene. This masked Stalfo's going back to Ganon, because in the series, whenever Link zapped one of Ganon's minions, they wouldn't die. They would go right back into this jar in the underworld. Watch what happens here. There is no beam. Instead, there's this liquid that it shoots, which was supposed to be like a beam in the video game or the series, as scripted.
All we can do is run.
yeah, and all they can do is run. Yeah. Now the scene would have continued until Sprite, a fairy featured in the series, would have appeared, and with a bunch of fairies at her command, she would have carried Link and Zelda to safety. Now the reason why the mask is being worn by a Stalfo is because in Majora's Mask, the video game that was released on the Nintendo 64, when the Skull Child put the mask on, it awoke the evil spirit that was inside. And that's the same case with the Stalfo, because when Ganon put it on, the spirit didn't awake. The mask needed a being that was weak, so the evil spirit could awake. Hey, see you in part 2.